IDE-like features you have in many editors, but implement them not in the editor, but in a separate application that can be used with basically any editor. So for example, if you want to write a Prometheus query in, say, VS Code, you can use the Prometheus language server, which I'm presenting now, and get completion for the stuff that is on your Prometheus. So that's like one point. And if you're, for example, selecting some completion or like having a query, you might want to know what it's all about. So you can again use VS Code or other language clients and just find out and get info. You also can, like if you do something wrong, like that's obviously wrong, you get an error message. That one isn't too great yet. It's the same error message as Prometheus produces, but it's going to get better soon because I'm also in the process of rewriting the parser inside Prometheus for producing these error messages. You can get like the completion stuff also in slightly more complicated cases. For example, if you want to do a function, you also have completion for that function and then get signatures for these functions. And like then again, you can get completion for whatever is on your node, on your Prometheus server, whatever. So, and then you still get a complaint that it's not an instant vector, so you got to fix it and make it a range vector. Yeah, and then there might still be the case that you don't know what that rate function is doing, so you can just hover over it and get the documentation for the rate function. Yeah. So a lot of things that should make editing from QL queries easier. And of course, usually you are not editing just a file with just a PromQL query. The usual case is that you have some larger file, which is typically some YAML, which has alert manage rules or stuff like that. And inside that you have PromQL query. The syntax highlighting doesn't work in that case, but you still have most of the other stuff. You also have recording rule support. So right now, that thing is a recording rule. And if you hover over it, it actually shows how the recording rule was defined in the same file. And you also get completion for recording rules, like if you are looking for it. Or error messages if something is wrong. Yeah. Or hover over functions, like whatever. Yeah. And another thing is that it actually works quite well with large files. So like, for example, that file is like one of a quite large Prometheus file with or YAML file with like, I think 70 kilobytes, and you don't have any noticeable latency in it. And even like I've created a really large file, like that file is called monster.yaml because it's a megabyte in size. And you can still get everything with it quite quickly. So if you're really looking hard for it and not doing it on your own workstation, you notice a small delay of like 200 milliseconds or something, but it's still quite performance in this scenario. Yeah. So that's basically what the language server is about. Any questions so far?
None. Continue, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and obviously, like features like this would be also nice to have, for example, in Prometheus or in on some Kubernetes web interface to edit configuration files there. And there are actually plans to add language server-like features to Prometheus, like based on the same code base. they're not completely baked out yet, but that might happen in the future. And yeah, so there's also like quite some stuff directly upstream in Prometheus going on to improve error messages, because like if you look at error messages and get one like this, could not pass remaining input, that's not quite helpful. Also, the current version of the language server has a lot of cases where completion doesn't work. And all of that is because for that more advanced completion cases, the language server somehow needs to find out the structure of such a query. And to do that, it actually uses the same PromQL parser as Prometheus. So it's guaranteed that the same queries will generate errors on the language server that will generate errors on Prometheus. And yeah, so the data the Prometheus parser produces for wrong queries isn't too great. And it has a few other issues. So I've actually rewritten the Prometheus parser, and like most of that rewrite is already merged upstream and some of it is in review. So you can also expect, just like the normal Prometheus, significantly better error messages in the next release.
Do you think that will land in the next release?
Yeah, pretty sure. Like part of it is already in the current release, and it's quite sure to be in the next. Like the error message stuff is quite sure to be in the next release.
Okay.
I don't know about the language server completion stuff.
That's, I think, a bigger story.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Right. Any question for Tobias? Then I think that's it. Or
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, or just as we aren't that many people again, feel free to just ask them right away. Just unmute yourself and go ahead. We're happy to answer questions.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So if I want to actually like play with it, is there any like documentation how to actually set it up locally, how to test
Yeah,
it?
so at the moment it's quite, it's a bit complicated, because there isn't like in the future there will be just a VS Code extension you can install in the store. That's not yet the case, because it isn't in a state yet where I want everybody to install it and then notice, oh, it still has a lot of bugs, I'm not going to use it, so it's not stable enough for that. But there's this GitHub page for it, which also has some screenshots. And so I've currently tested it with VS Code and Vim, and VS Code is working quite well. Vim still requires some work to properly work. And there is actually, like here, just a link to the VS Code extension. And there's that VS Code extension. And here's a guide how to try out the extension. So
maybe we can put this into the meeting notes, because I'm sure people would.
So I can just link these two READMEs in the meeting notes. And yeah, if you have any issues on it, feel free to ping me on IOC or open an issue on GitHub.
Cool, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? Cool, then I think we're done for today. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice local time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.